name's Miles Hamaker. I've been a member at Montclair Road Baptist Church for over 20 years. I was saved at age 9. Actually, Pastor Tim Womack knocked on the door one evening after we'd visited the church a couple times. To the glory of God, the family bowed and prayed to receive Christ. Myself, my older brother, my older sister, and my mother as well. My father had already been saved previously in his life. My faith in God didn't mean a whole lot to me, really for a long time, much to my shame. I lived a very worldly life, especially through my teen years. I joined the Army right out of high school, and this was my first exposure to the real world, and I was scared. So when a Christian experiences fear, we ought to turn to the Lord. And that was a turning point for me. I drew closer to the Lord, especially around basic training. When I first left home, and a few years ago I deployed overseas when I was 20 to Afghanistan, and I struggled there. And even though there were chapters of me certainly being out of fellowship with God, He made sure that I had fellow believers at my side. And that chapter of my life quickly passed. And I returned home and lost someone that I was close with. It was a chapter of trials, chapter of hardship, and my faith developed because of it. And Julie Hamaker actually approached me after a service about 5 years ago, I think now, around COVID time frame, and just noticed how good I was with interacting with children. And she's like, "You need to be involved in this Awana ministry. Like, you need to think about it, you need to pray about it, but we want to recruit you to be a part of this." So for the last 5 years, I have served in the Awana ministry as well, and I think this is my 3rd year now being the teacher of the first grade class. And you show up on a Wednesday night, you might be tired, you might be burdened, and you're like, man, I need to minister to these children. And then the evening goes by, and you recognize the children ministered to me. The children are a great encouragement to me. I've had multiple parents over the years approach me and just be like, "Man, to hear my kid talk about you, like after Awana on a Wednesday night, like, man, they love you. Like, they have so much fun, and they make such good memories. And, we see your heart for God." And every time I'm paid that compliment, it's like my natural, or rather supernatural response is to just shed tears, because I recognize that's not my doing. That's God's doing. That's God's work in my life, going all the way back to age 9 being saved, or going back to my time in the Army when I began to develop a more serious relationship with Him, or certainly my time in college when I reached a true point of repentance, a turning point where I started to clean up my life, eliminate sin from my life as best as I could, and get serious about serving. All of that because God was patient. There was a leadership meeting over the summer, I think. Pastor Eric addressed us all and called us all together, just those that are actively serving in the church. And so my dad and I were there, and he had a lot of good inspirational things to say. I think I kind of took it as a call to action. Our church has been through a turbulent time, and we need to, perhaps deal with that, but for the most part, leave that behind and cast a vision for moving forward. And I recall Jeff Kaminsky specifically speaking, standing up and speaking, just boldly proclaiming, like, we're still going to have an Awana program, and I'm going to head that program. Like, no worries. This is going to move forward. And I feel that, first of all, I was inspired by that. I really was, because of my involvement in the Awana ministry and everything, and I was inspired by Jeff, and I felt convicted, if I'm being honest, because over this summer I was toying with the idea of the issues in the church. I was toying with the idea of perhaps not coming back to serve in Awana this season, and there's been a couple nights specifically this year that were amazing, and so I'm excited to see where my walk with God goes, but I feel that I just need to be more willing to submit and commit to serving. I'm most thankful to God for His faithfulness to me, even when I'm not faithful to Him. I'm grateful that even after a recent chapter of rebellion in my own life, that He can love me at my worst when I need it most, and I deserve it least.